Good day, comic fam. Comics the Voice here. I got another stack of special missions. Take 2. I already recorded this, and this didn't work. Technical difficulties are always a pain. So hopefully the second take is better than the first take, but we'll never know because I deleted it. Stay tuned. Good day, comic fam. We're back with the special missions. So this is going to be issues number 11 to 20. There's 28 issues. Last episode I said 23, but the reason why I was in the 23 thing in my brain is because that's when I stopped collecting it. So I never had those 5 issues. So when I brought my brother's collection, I finally had those final 5. There's that 5 again, final 5. So there's 28 issues. So we'll do one more episode after this, and then I'll have the wrapped up with the Order of Battle and the Transformers versus G.I. Joe. So this one here is called Sheep's Clothing. So this one here is Chuckles has a team of the Joes, and they're stopping a terrorist faction that's broken into PX headquarters in Germany. So a lot of these special missions are overseas. There's only a couple that are actually in the continental US. Most of them are somewhere else. So he calls in Lady J, Scarlet, Jinx, Dial Tone, and Lowlight because he needs some womanly action here because he's gonna exchange the hostages. So these guys these terrorists broke into the PX trying to get some money. And there were some MPs outside that caught them, shot one of the guys as they were trying to escape, and they jumped back into the building and took some hostages. So now Chuckles wants to replace the hostages with Lady J, Scarlet, and Jinx. And they're going to be disguised as nurses, because there's an aircraft that's flown in that has their accomplices on board. They hijacked a plane and they landed it. And they have a spotter up in the buildings. So they were tracking the G.I. Joe team as they were trying to go to the airport. So they had to do some things involving a streetcar, which is kind of cool. So there was a streetcar that they commandeered. So there was one blind spot where, of course, it's like watching a movie, you know, like the armored car that they got to escape to the airport. You know, it's one of the things they negotiated as it was driving through and the spotter was watching. It was one blind corner where they would be not seen for a block. So the Joes commandeered a streetcar and they took over the streetcar and got onto the armored car and replaced all the terrorists with the Joe team, which they go on the plane, and then they caught the bad guys. So neat issue. I enjoy these issues. They were so much fun. So yeah, I've got 2 of every one of them, and no more newsstands. I think they're all direct editions all the way up to 28, but that's okay. So this is issue 12. Yes, 12. This one's called Air Show. It's a G.I. Joe team, Ace, Slipstream, and Maverick. Maverick? Come on. So the Cobra team has Firefly, and there's a couple other Cobra agents that were with them. So they went to an air show. So basically, this is the weird part too. G.I. Joe team shows up at the air show to show off the Sky Striker, the X-30, and a brand new plane called the Vector. So that's the Vector right there. No security. So the Cobras were able to disable the Sky Striker and the X-30 and steal the Vector. And of course, you know, Maverick goes up in this old biplane, and then the whole issue is about them chasing after a high-tech aircraft with a 100-year-old plane. Okay, that was kind of cool. I enjoyed it. Number 13. This one's a key. This is the first appearance of Lightfoot. Love these Mike Zeck covers. And some of them are. This one's a Wagner cover. Now, Key Collector is just showing Lightfoot as the only appearance in this one. There was actually two. So in this one here, this one's called Washout. And they're in North Africa this time. Oh yeah, what was the last one? This one they were actually in the US. This one now they're in North Africa, in some weird country that doesn't exist. And the G.I. Joe team is Dusty and Outback. And they're bringing two brand new Joes. And the reason why they probably didn't acknowledge the first appearance is because one of them dies in this issue of the two new Joes, which is Mangler. So Mangler is the blonde dude that's carrying Lightfoot on his back. So Lightfoot is a weapons or munitions. He blows shit up. Is what he does. So their mission is to find this cache that's buried somewhere out in the desert. They're going to blow it up. And of course they get captured. And Lightfoot gets the shit kicked out of them, tortured, and you know, they're basically left for dead. And Lightfoot still wants to go on with the mission. So they go on with the mission. Mangler's pissed off with him because he basically told the enemy everything after they tortured him for 2 days. Of course. And he still wanted to go on the mission, so Mangler carried him. And then, of course, when they were trying to make their escape after they blew the shit out of the cache, Mangler sacrifices himself so that they can escape. So it's his first and last appearance. But it should still be noted, as far as I'm concerned. So if you have a brand new character in a comic book, even though he dies in that issue, I don't care. It's his first appearance. Period. Even if he dies. Just my opinion. What do I know? Only been collecting for about 40 years, but that's okay. I'm opinionated. Another cool one. So this one happens in the Himalayas, China. This one's called In From the Cold, and it's going to be like a two-parter. Yeah, it goes into issue number 15. So the G.I. Joe team in this one's Chuckles, Anderson, who's a CIA agent. This one's a continuation from Special Missions 8. Iceberg, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes. So their mission, the CIA has sent Anderson with these and the G.I. Joe team to go in and find another CIA agent that's been missing for 20 years, and he's in some kind of hidden valley. But Anderson's secret mission on top of their mission is to just kill him. And of course they find all that out, and Anderson's just like a spineless waste of space, and they don't like him very much. And of course there's a big battle, and the Chinese army finds them as they go into that hidden valley and send a military regiment in there. So there's a big battle, and of course there's a monastery, and because you see it here, Snake Eyes scaling the walls of the monastery. And of course there's a rebel faction. So they find this rebel faction all on horsebacks, old-fashioned style. Kind of like the Mujahideen. Is that who they are? Those ones in Afghanistan. And it carries on into this issue. So in this issue, it's still the same team, and that's the continuation. It's called Into the Fire. So still the same G.I. Joe team: Chuckles, Anderson, Iceberg, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes. So in this one, of course, you know, that CIA agent, they found him. He's running the rebels. And the Chinese army comes in, destroys the monastery, and holds the abbot because they know that the rebels will come and try to free him. And of course the monastery is on a sheer cliff with 3 sides that they can defend, and one's just a sheer cliff. And of course they got to climb up the cliff and sneak into it that way and rescue the abbot and take off. And then of course they're pursued by the army, and Anderson's other agent, the CIA agent, sacrifices himself. So Anderson takes over and becomes the new leader of the faction. So it's kind of one of those predictable stories. You just kind of knew what was going to happen with that one. All right, now we're on to 16. I tell you, this thing better be recording my voice this time. Yeah, this one's a pretty lengthy one too. This one's called Tight Circle. So this one we've got Cobra, we've got the G.I. Joe team. So the G.I. Joe team in this one, we got Hawk, Mainframe, Stalker, Lady J, Wild Bill, Ace, Slipstream, and Maverick. And the Cobra team, we've got Cobra Commander, Dr. Mindbender, Zartan, a Strato Viper, and a Star Viper. So there's this brand new stealth pilot. And there's like a first appearance of a rocket, Cobra rocket ship in this one. And basically, this was a Cobra diversion. This one leads into number 81. All right, so the regular continuation of the regular series. So some of these crossed over. So in this one, it starts off, and I actually kind of like this one. This one's kind of funny. It shows you the differences between the Cobra team and the G.I. Joe team. So the Cobra team, you know, the Star Viper is a dickhead. Nobody likes him. He's being miserable and basically trying to show off all his wonderful skills. And we've got the G.I. Joe team, who are super duper. Oh, this isn't the one with the I already showed that one, the Jetfire one. It's similar to that other issue. Okay, this isn't the one that I was thinking of. This one, it's a diversionary tactic. So something's going on Cobra Island, and G.I. Joe wants to go in and take some pictures. So they send in a couple of aircraft, and the Cobras are attacking the G.I. Joe team while the Vector takes some pictures. And then it all ends up being just a big diversionary tactic, because the actual thing that Cobra was doing was moving a bunch of stuff on the other side of the island, because they had a ship come in, and they were unloading people, and they were taking over some small town in the continental U.S. again, which turns out to be that not Springfield, but the other weird named one. So that's not the one I was thinking of. Okay, and then we're on to issue 17. We've got some stalker action going on there. So this one here is all in a night's work. So we got Dusty, Stalker, Shockwave. Yeah, there's that Shockwave. Stole that right from the Transformers. Muskrat, Hardball, Hit and Run, Sneak Peek, Scarlet. Oh yeah, the Saxon, he's an FBI agent, Lowlight. And then the Cobra team has got Toxo Vipers, Techno Vipers, Scrap Iron, and then a bunch of bats. So this one here is Cobra had some equipment in Silicon Valley in some computer laboratory that they needed to destroy and get rid of, so they sent their team in. And of course the FBI agents find out about this stuff, and they call in the G.I. Joe team. And it's a big, huge battle, and G.I. Joe wins. Big surprise. All right, issue number 18. This one is pretty cool. This is Chuckles and the group trying to escape from previous issues that we were just talking about. So we got Chuckles, Iceberg, Snake Eyes, and Scarlet. This continued from Special Missions 15 and 16. We also have Destro's team in here. So we've got Voltar and the Iron Grenadiers. And then there's the October Guard, which is Stormovic, Diana, Colonel Breakov, Horror Show, and Dragonovsky. So basically it's the G.I. Joe team trying to escape. So they're in, this one's called Extraction, and they're in Southeast Asia, so basically Vietnam, Thailand. And they're trying to get to an extraction point. And of course they come across this village that's being bullied by this bandit group, and Snake Eyes won't stand the Elder getting killed, so he goes in and does his thing. So then there's a big, huge battle. And then the next issue is from the perspective of these guys, the rescuers, trying to come in to collect this team. And these guys are thinking that the Flyboys have it easy. So they have a secret mission from the USS Flag, so they're on board the Flag with Keelhaul giving them the information. The G.I. Joe team is Wild Bill, Lift Ticket, Repeater, Lifeline, Muskrat. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, it's a carryover. So they carry all this extra fuel and stuff. They flipped off from the Flag, and then their orders are to pick these guys up. So they go through hell because, of course, the October Guard's M124 helicopters are fighting them. It's not October Guard on, it's just some other Russians. And everybody on board's basically shot, wounded. The controls are all messed up. The helicopter is in really bad shape when it finally lets down and picks up the other Joe team. Everybody's wounded. The fuel's all messed up. They had to shoot down one of the M124s, and it landed more or less intact. And then they had to battle the two pilots and then basically steal the fuel from that helicopter so they could get back to the flag. And then we've got our issue 20. This one takes place, I guess it would be the U.S., so it's going to be in Alaska. It's in the Baltic Strait. It's called Snowblind. So the G.I. Joe team is Wild Bill, Slipstream, Frostbite, Snowjob, and Avalanche. We got a Cobra team, Ice Vipers, Techno Vipers, and then Wolf Gunners, which are in the Wolves, which is the Cobra. Yeah, that would be their Cobra snow vehicles. And Toxo Vipers. And then we got the October Guard, which is just 3 of them. It's Colonel Breakov, Horror Show, and Diana. So the Russians have this big convoy that they're taking somewhere with ice samples, core samples. And apparently the Cobras want it. And Wild Bill is flying over in a C-130. And he's got the Snow group on there with their G.I. Joe vehicle. And once they see the Cobras, they attack the Russian and steal their stuff. Wild Bill drops the crew, and they go work with the October Guard, and they work together to beat Cobra. And there we have it. Those are the first, well, now the second episode up to issue number 20 of Special Missions. So one more and we'll be done with this series, and then I gotta move on to something else. So take care.